Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. We got play of props here on a Tuesday for you guys. We're getting ahead of this stuff nice and early, Monday night. So coming out with these early lines that we're looking at. Hopefully plenty of this stuff is still available on Tuesday for you guys. But definitely want to make sure to subscribe to that channel. We've also got best bets with some sides and totals looks for you in a separate episode, bringing both of those to you each and every weekday. So continue to follow along with us all season. Also want to make sure you check out the description of the video here. We've got the link to the email newsletter that is now coming out every Friday. So if you sign up for that, make sure you stay on top of all of the sports betting news that we're bringing you each and every Friday. Plus, we have the bonus parlay pick from Nate and myself, a little player prop parlay that we're putting together for plus money. Usually mostly same game so far, but who knows? Might branch out if there's some good slates that we can mess with. But either way, that'll be coming out each Friday. So hopefully you guys are checking that out. Nate, let's go ahead and get right into your first play of prop here.
Yeah, I'm going to take SGA, and maybe you get it at 38, 9.5 points and assists. This is projected because he has gone under, actually, 3 straight on the points in specific, and he had a 40 PA projection against the Clippers, went well under that. But prior to that, had hit this in 5 straight road games. I mean, of course, the Clippers, they're going to throw some junk at him, maybe get him off his game a little bit. I mean, Sacramento, even with Keon Ellis playing a bigger role, recently hasn't done anything to slow down SGA. He's averaging 36 and 8, 37% usage. His last 4 against Sac. It's 50% splits. And Sac particularly awful down low right now. Whether it's Sabonis on short rest coming off an injury or more Joval in there, like they're not going to have any answers. I just would hope that this game stays close enough. If you are worried about that, I mean, SGA like first quarter, it could be a look because he probably bounces back after a slower game against the Clips and just comes out and gets it done. Puts them to bed early. We've seen that certainly a few times, and then usually he just keeps on going. But we might not have J-Dub this for this game, and without him, 32.5 and 8 on the season. Again, 37% usage rate for SGA. Sac on the back-to-back, they allow 122 a game and 29 assists, which is stark different from every other normal rest situation. They allow about 8 fewer points, about 3 fewer assists per game. So yeah, they're probably going to get trucked here. I do like the Thunder -9. I think maybe it is a star 30 plus with the money line or with an adjusted spread type parlay here, because the Thunder, I mean, they just give them the ball and get out of the way, and you get it's been a few cold games, but I think you go right back to the MVP and let him fill it up.
Yeah, they play him 30 minutes, like no matter what. So this is another good matchup for him. Keon Ellis, there's no real like stopper that you're super worried about coming up against SGA. If anybody, maybe it would be like Lou Dort would be the ideal guy to stop him. Unfortunately, it's on his same team. So yeah, I think this is adding the assist in there against a team that might try to pressure the ball out of his hands, which he'll be good enough at getting out of that, passing out of that, or passing out of it and then cutting to the basket to get it right back. But he's going to be heavily involved, and there's going to be 30 minutes. And if this thing is at all close, and there's any chance, right, especially with like the guys that we have questionable in this one, including Chet, then yeah, we're talking about him just having insane usage and making sure that they get the W. Like they're just not all just emptying the benches when SGA plays. They're still giving him the requisite time and attention that he really needs on ball. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the Warriors game here. Excuse me. This is gonna be a good one. Well, I was like, is it Heat, Warriors? Jimmy was confusing me. Andrew Wiggins, which team is it? All right, it's gonna be a good one, right? Like there's gonna be some drama. This is gonna be fun. So if you're on the East Coast, make sure you're like ready to go at 7. And if you're on the West Coast, make sure you're ready to go at like 4:30, 4 o'clock, whatever, because this is gonna be fun for sure. We don't have like Jimmy on the injury report. We do have Steph. So I should say I'm going with Jimmy in this one at 26.5 points and assists. And I want to give the disclaimer up top here, like if Steph is in, I still like this, but you're going to get a better number if Steph is officially ruled in than 26.5 PA. It does seem like Steph's props are, they're up and they are reasonable for him, what they would be here with sort of like a 30-minute projection for him in this game. And so Jimmy's are also kind of priced like Steph is playing already. So not sure how much of that bump you'll get, but let's see what happens with Steph, because I just love the assist no matter what. And if Steph is in, maybe you see what happens to the points and you take those away. I think that's the key takeaway here is like the dime dimes no matter what, Steph, no Steph. But if Steph is out, I love adding the points because I think Jimmy will make sure that they win. He'll will them to this thing, similar to how he tried to bring them back against the Hawks in the last game and still had another 16 potential assist game in that one. And that's really what this is 16.6 potential assists for him in the last 5. Steph only missed 4 of those, including like a quarter in that Raptors game because he missed the 4th when he left with that back bruise. But he didn't have any like structural damage, so it's just a matter of whether or not he can really give it a go. And they're trying to keep that 6 seed, so like I would expect him in there. But back to Jimmy, 8.6 assists per game here in these last 5. Only one of those without Steph. Like I said, it's really coming down to like the offense is now. It's not different necessarily, but he is the first guy on ball, and then he'll be the second guy on ball a lot too, right? Like it'll be either Steph or Draymond bringing it up. They hand it to Jimmy. He starts the action, and everything works off of that. Whether it's Steph coming around a double screen or it's Jimmy working the pick and roll as the ball handler and looking to get it into Steph's hands, vice versa, right? So like there's a lot of ways that this hits. There's a lot of the offense now predicated on Jimmy either getting the dimes or the points. And like, look, like my thing too is just like breaking it, just losing all the stats for a second. I'm just feeling like this is Jimmy picking up the another team going into the old building. He loves being the bad guy. He's villain. He is a villain, and he's amazing at it. He does it all the time in the playoffs. He's going to be in a building he's very familiar with. I don't think he's going to like shy away from the moment. So he's going to do what he needs to do to make sure this team wins because he talked all that noise, and he is somebody who backs it up when he does. And this is a very, very, very big moment to either put up or shut up for him. He's never going to shut up, but he's definitely going to try to put up in this one. So I love him to go overs in mostly the points and the dimes.
This is a role reversal here. We got Dr. Narrative, taking Jimmy, and in Miami, the game that's been up for a month now when we're thinking about revenge either way. I mean, I think you're getting some value. Warriors -4.5 with Steph at practice. Like if Steph goes, like they're clearly the superior team here, right? I mean, even if he doesn't, like they could just, they could just be fine with GP2 and pods like running around. Like the Heat have been no great shakes. So, I mean, Jimmy, feed off those boos, get the dub with the dubs with your new team. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go Onyeka Okongwu under 16.5 points and assists. I'm going to take out the rebounds. Originally, I was looking at the 26.5 PRA under. I mean, Houston is the number 1 rebounding team right now, but those could bounce a certain way. And he's really the elite rebounder for Atlanta. I mean, he might defer a couple to Dyson Daniels, but he's the only guy they got down there. But as far as like scoring and assisting against this Houston defense, I'm not seeing it. I mean, Houston should be elite as a particular matchup guarding the Trey pick and roll with Amen out there. And then, they should just shut down Okongwu, which they did last matchup. He only had 4 field goal attempts. He had a 7.5% usage rate. Didn't get anywhere near that kind of usage you would need. And that he's gotten in these last 5 to be productive, and go over this prop pretty consistently. 3 out of the last 5, but still only 19% usage rate in that span. His last 4 against Houston, including that one, 10 points, only 8.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists. So Houston allows the second fewest points to centers. There's a -130 out there on his under on the points, 14.5. They limit attempts at the rim. They limit assists overall. They're down in pace now that they have all their guys back. It's turned into more of that Houston, elite defensive team that Ime likes to put out there. And I mean, he certainly knows how to expose guys' weaknesses. Ime Udoka, and Okongwu is a guy who doesn't really have a bag, and is really going to depend on being able to roll off the pick and roll. And if Ime knows how to stop Trey that way, then I don't see him eating that much.
Right. Yeah, that's a big part of it too, is Trey being able to get him the ball. And that's a big reason why they're so good. Like Alperen Sengun's not a plus on defense. He used to be a big minus, gotten better to just sort of being good enough. And they, to a degree, hide him because he's not like a rim protector, right? Like that's not his role. So it is the choking out the life of the defense up top that really helps this stuff. That's what Okongwu is reliant upon. It's that and tip-ins. And one thing Alpi can do is board, and he's not big enough. He's not going to like overpower Alperen Sengun. I'll put it that way for Okongwu. So I like plenty of under stuff for him in this one. I love the points, honestly, as much as anything, because I think he'll just be sort of lost without someone just feeding it to him. That won't be easy because we're going to have Amen on Trey. That was the matchup last game in this one. It was actually Derek Brooks or Dylan Brooks, not former linebacker Derek Brooks, Dylan Brooks guarding like Okongwu for a bit after like Mo Gay came out. Then he was on Okongwu. Like it was, they're messing with him for sure. I don't see him getting the points, but let me go ahead and close it out here with my second one going in that game as well. Jalen Green under 27.5 points and assists. Might feel a little bit dangerous, but the thing here about Houston is like they have not been had their whole squad that much this season. Like if you look at him playing with everybody when he's not just the clear cut number one option and clear cut best option to break down the defense, because especially when Fred is not around, there is no one to go one-on-one against the other team, like other than him. That's why you actually see like Cam Whitmore coming in at times. And like Amin, as good as he is, doesn't have a bag to go by people. He uses like off-ball stuff to really be more athletic and fast and all that. So this is like not necessarily like not a game that he is going to be needed to go off, and he's getting the Dyson Daniels matchup. So he had the Dyson Daniels matchup in this game last time. Both Tari and Jabari did not play in that game. That's 48 minutes of two like really powerful dudes who do command the ball a decent amount, and that they will not be shying away from. Like the team will sort of be focused a little bit more, I think, on just guarding everybody. But Dyson Daniels will be one-on-one with Jalen Green. I think that's when you look at the way that he played him last time, you guarded him for the most amount of time on defense. Jalen Green was 2 for 7 from the field in that one, 0 for 4 from 3 with Dyson Daniels ball hawking him. And they're not really setting too many screens at this point either. Maybe they increase that, and that would be the sort of the update, right, that they would make. The adjustment is the word I'm thinking of, that they would make in this game is like, okay, maybe we do run on offense. Ime might run a little bit more for Jalen Green or pick and roll in general. But why do we think it's just going to be Jalen Green? Like he and Fred have the same usage when they're on court. And when Jalen Green has played with literally everybody that we care about, like the main 6 guys, which is like one of the Aries and then Amin, and Jalen and Fred and Dylan and Alper and Şengün, right? Those 6 guys, when they're all available alongside Jalen Green, he's at 21.5 points and assists per game. He's under in the 20 of 26 games that they've played all together. So as bad as the Hawks are seen on defense, they're actually like 17th in terms of defensive rating. They haven't been that bad, and they're definitely a better defensive team than they were the last time that Jalen had more of a had a higher usage rate without the Aries there, and had worse defenders that he could switch on to, because you had like Trey, you had Vic Krejci, you had Keaton Wallace. Those were the other guys that were guarding Jalen Green when Dyson Daniels wasn't in, or he was hunting them on the switches. Now he's hunting better defenders, right? Like you're going to get like Bang Bang Niang in there. You're going to get Karis LeVert in there. You're going to get better players on defense than the 3 guys I just mentioned. All love to Keaton Wallace, but definitely especially him. So yeah, I love this under for Jalen. So I think it's priced too high.
Yeah, this is a good find with some good research to back it up for sure. Under in 20 of 26 with everybody available, averaging 6 fewer than the prop. Yeah, and you get Dyson Daniels, who certainly respect as the primary matchup here. This makes me like Amin Thompson overs a little bit more too, to just think like that Houston's going to be working some other stuff and not just relying on the Jalen ISO, which they did for so long while Amin was out. Also makes me think a little bit more about the under 232 for the game. I was looking at that and I was just like, but the Hawks just never go under. Like somehow, some way. We'll see. It's an immovable force and an unstoppable object, or the other way around, right?
One of those two. Yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah, and I agree actually that when you're talking about it, when I look at the matchups that I write out for them, I think Amin is going to get a pretty good one, whether it's like Mo Gay or then we get, like I said, Bang Bang George Niang comes in. There's not going to be much in the way of defending Amin Thompson. He's going to be able to have his way. So yeah, I love that look as well. But that's all the time we have for you in player props. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that channel. Hit those best bets up as well with the looks for sides and totals for you guys. Until we see you next, happy betting.